Would you like to see a magic trick? You are special. I like playing flawed characters, but there's a darkness there.
Sometimes my dreams are right.
You don't have much time.
The creepiest damn thing.
Hello and welcome back to the On the Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. Lads, why Friday night?
Because
Friday night is horror night. Wow.
All right. Unbelievable. Well done, gents. I swear we rehearsed that, lads.
Well, if we did,
yeah. Two weeks in a row now, full house.
I'm so happy, excited that I haven't changed my clothes.
Me too.
Absolutely. Well, back to front.
Just watch them once a week for Friday.
Yes.
But we have a top show lined up for you today, lads, and what my opinion is one of the best, if not the best, horror movie of the year so far. We did leave it a little bit longer, as it says during the Prey episode. We left it a little bit longer. We didn't want to spoil it for people and have people moaning, even though I couldn't care less if you moan. But
if they do want to moan, Greg, where should they moan?
They can email it to me and I'll put it in the bin with the rest of them.
Or they could just do it in the comment section and let us all respond to it. You know?
Yeah. Open up the Hellraiser portal and see what happens. But tonight, lads, we're talking about the Black Phone.
Brilliant.
This movie was due to come out at Halloween last year, and it was meant to run alongside Antlers, and it got pushed back to January, and then it got pushed back again, and then there was talks that it mightn't even come out, which was crazy. Obviously, being finished and starring Ethan Hawke and stuff. It was crazy that it wasn't going to come out, but my God, what a job they done on this.
Very good.
Fantastic.
This is the Lovely Bones crossed with horror, pretty much.
Say, yeah, well, Ethan Hawke is becoming quite a horror actor, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's certainly delving in, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's certainly delving in. He's this was brilliant though.
Yeah, he's coming
Getting a bacon.
Throne, isn't he? Like he's Jesus Christ.
I think Patrick Wilson's still at the head of the table though.
Oh, always, man, always. I just want to say something real quick, because I was one of those people, and Carl knows, you all know I'm like this. Once I see a trailer that goes more than 2 minutes, I'm fucking out. I just it fucking irks me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have a rant on trailers here, but just for me, and I think, Carl, you're the same. We've talked about this actually in private before. I'll know within the first 30 seconds if I'm into it, and I don't want to see any more. You know what I mean? Because we've been duped in recent times. I mean, Shutter Island is a perfect example. Yeah. You know, when you watch the Shutter Island trailer, you're like, is this a horror? What is this? You know, when you see your one with the and you're kind of going, this is not what I expected at all. I suppose that's a good thing and a bad thing, but I'm a in a world guy. You know what I mean? Give me that 30-40 seconds and leave the gravy until last. Let me see what's on the menu first, and then top it off with the gravy. But I watched 30 seconds of this trailer, like I do with most movies, and I was like, boom, I'm in. I'm fucking in. And I even believe, Greg, if I'm not mistaken, I think the original trailer wasn't that long either, no?
The first full trailer I've seen for this was about 2.5.
Okay, fair enough.
I think there was teaser trailers that
Maybe
had just the mask and the phone in it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I had one with him driving the van with the balloons.
Yes.
But I'm not sure. If I remember right, I think it was about 2.5. Something.
Cool.
But it was meant to be run alongside Antlers, who ran very little trailers because the movie was dog shy.
And I haven't watched it on your recommendation. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm the same. I was really looking forward to
So was
Antlers,
I.
and then
Yeah.
and Greg
Lads,
said it didn't
I don't
hold
think there
up.
was anybody in the country looking more forward to it than I was, and it was
As
fucking.
soon as
nuts.
Greg told me that as well, I was like, I'm out.
I will say that the trailer for this, though, although about 2.5 minutes, it didn't give anything away. Do you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of a trailer like that. You know, you see a van with black balloons coming out of it, could mean anything. You know, yes, you see him in the mask, but you're gonna have to give us that because we need to know, you know,
What it is.
what the film's about. But
Yeah,
the
that's
rest
the
of it
pull.
is just
Yeah.
small little bits of like, oh, they were at here's kids at an arcade. That, you know, does that mean he takes one of them from the arcade? No, not necessarily. Here's them at a school. You know, there's nothing there that says this is exactly the plot line that gives
There's
you
nothing
everything.
sinister about it.
Yeah, like there's nothing. It doesn't give you
Greg
everything.
like that one.
It's not
Greg like
giving you
that.
too much. You know what I mean? You get just enough that your intrigue is peaked, but not
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much that you're like, okay, I kind of already know what's going to happen in this film.
And just on the mask there alone, a big shout out to Jason Baker,
Mm.
who designed the mask. Man, what a fucking job that is.
Fucking
He's
amazing.
and he did it in conjunction with Tom Savini, didn't he?
Yeah, I think I don't know if Tom was in this one, but I know Jason's name was definitely attached to it. And a major shout out to that because it was fucking phenomenal.
What I
It's
love about this
something
mask though is that it's so, you know, there's the full mask,
and
then
then it's
there's
a piece.
then there's the
Something-
half
yeah.
mask where
Yes.
it's the top,
Yes.
just the top of it. Then there's the
Yeah.
bottom half of the mask, and they all look sinister in their own right.
Mm.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
One thing I wanted to say as well, because that's a really good point, Ted. The scenes in this movie when he does just have the bottom half and you can see the top part of his face, it's the acting ability of Ethan Hawke is phenomenal
Yeah.
because it's all in the eyes and
Yeah.
the kind of schizo fucking character that he is. Like, it's, oh my god, man, this is actually one of the finest pieces of acting in a horror movie in
For a
modern
long time.
times.
A long
In a
time.
long time. I
And
mean,
And you know,
The one thing I want to say about the mask at the bottom,
Hmm.
most of the time when you see a mask at the bottom, the first thing that comes to your head is obviously Hannibal Lecter.
I was just about to say it's one of the best performances since Hannibal Lecter.
It's very good, but it's very different. Like at no
Yeah.
point when he's wearing that half mask, the bottom half of the mask, are you thinking he's just copying Hannibal Lecter? Like at no point
No.
are you thinking,
No.
oh, he's just copying that, which
No.
isn't a bad thing because that's a fantastic performance. To emulate it would be brilliant, but he took what he could have done and just copied that and went, no, I'm going to do something completely different.
What I like about the whole design of the mask, I think I read. Now I could be wrong, but as far as I know, it's in 3 parts,
Yeah.
so that when he's got wants to convey different emotions through that particular piece that he is, he'll take. So like if he's angry, he'll take off the big smiley face, the smiley part, if you get me, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. You know, but I just thought that was really clever. You
It's
know,
one of the best
Um,
performances in modern times, along with Split.
Yeah.
I thought Split was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just the fact that he could convey so many different emotions, as you say, with those 3 different pieces of the mask, and then obviously in Split, James McAvoy playing, you know, that many different characters. Two of the best performances in the last 20 years, I think.
I've
Greg,
seen. Go ahead, Carl.
Just gonna say, give us a quick little rundown of just in case people haven't seen. Just give them a quick rundown of the film, the synopsis.
So, the movie is basically kids are going missing in a neighborhood, and the protagonist is named the Grabber. Great name. None of this fucking something kidnapper, this, that, and the other. It's just
Jimmy
the Grabber. That's it. So basically, it's a guy driving around in a black van pretending to be a magician, and then he's chloroforming kids into the back of the car and killing them. Simple as that.
Prince Andrew. Oh, sorry, no.
Jesus.
Well, we're banned.
Mm.
No, we're not.
Um,
We're okay. Everyone
fourth.
agrees.
There was like the performances from we're talking about Ethan Hawke there, the young lad, the main young fella, and his sister in this, whose name I can't remember, were absolutely phenomenal. The sister was exceptionally good.
Yeah, and the best friend, the one.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the karate lad.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, like
He was fucking awesome.
I think that's one of the big things is that, like, as good as Ethan Hawke's performance is here, and he does deserve the commendations for it, the children acted extraordinarily well, especially like the main character being so timid and scared the whole time while he's down there, but then progressively building up more confidence, but then being dragged back to being the scared little boy each time a new ghost appears to him, or well, not appears, but he hears them through the phone and stuff. Very, very good performance from him.
Something you touched on there, the accommodations that Ethan Hawke got, the amount of hate that he got for doing this.
Why?
He's stealing the part from a person that could be an up and comer. He doesn't need to do it. He's just putting his name. It's egotistical. Bollocks. You put your name to a movie, fine. He's a phenomenal actor.
He's obviously the person they wanted to play the part, so it's not him jeopardizing someone else. It's him earning the fucking right to play the part.
Well,
absolutely.
Who would have done it better? Armie Hammer?
Do you know who I would have? Do you know who I'd say?
Because it would have been real life.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey would have been very good with the facial expressions.
Yeah, he would have been good, but I'm sorry, lads, I gotta say, Ethan Hawke is one of those actors that over time and over a long period
and gotten
of time
much better.
Yeah,
has just become somebody that he's a smart actor. He plays roles that he knows he can bring something to. I mean, in Sinister, he's phenomenal. I mean, that was one of the first kind of horror movies that we'd seen him in. I know he was
It's been a long time, yeah.
It's in 1408, was it?
Yes.
No, that was
the one with Angelina Jolie. What was it? The skit? No, fucking
Taking Lives.
Yeah. That's the one. And but this one was his standout performance. So why the fuck wouldn't he take this role?
Exactly.
And show his diversity.
I mean, you're talking about Blumhouse bringing this out as well.
Yeah.
You're not saying no to it. I don't care who you are.
100%. I think this is one of the best characters because again, it has elements of that schizo kind of split personality. You know what I mean, like the James McAvoy split, but it's not a direct rip-off. And like Ted, very correctly mentioned earlier, it's not a direct rip-off of Hannibal Lecter either. He's just clearly a fucking absolute lunatic and has 3 different personalities to go with the 3 different sides that he's shown you each time he enters the room. So it's very apt, and the performance, I think in horror, it's performance of the year, and probably the best performance since, as I say, James McAvoy and Split for me.
No, I'd agree with you that it's probably the best horror performance in the last while.
Yeah.
It's such a unique feel for the film, I think. Yeah, it's meant to be in the 80s, isn't it, Craig? Yeah. So,
70s,
but like,
80s, something like that.
But they got that look. Like some films try and replicate that look and fail miserably, and it just looks worse. But these guys got it right, and like from the way they filmed it and just everything. I thought it was.
That's a good show, Carl. Actually, it's a very smart play as well on on obviously the popularity of Stranger Things, because obviously that's kind of cool at the moment now because the 80s is very in, to replicate, timelines of the 1980s.
Yeah,
and they done this in a much more dark and sinister way, and I think they definitely had that kind of a dark feel of, say, Silence of the Lambs, the original movie. Where the camera work on it was very dark. It was a very unique movie, I have to say. It didn't really copy anything.
It was well worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know something, boys? In this day and age where it's very hard to get what would you say, something that thinks independently to the rest of the big machine. For this to be able to get released and do as well as it did, that's a win for everyone, I think, for horror fans and for thriller fans, whatever you call it. But because like as far as I can see, horror films are just at the moment they're just all cookie cutter. They're all the same type of shit.
Yeah.
Whereas you get
Throwing
a
out
different,
jump scares.
yeah, you get something different, and it's just it's even more watchable then. I feel.
I think up until 2021, I'd have agreed with you. I think this
Right.
year has been quite good for horror films. We've gotten a lot of very, very good horror films this
Mm.
year.
Yeah.
And that's great to see, because as we see more horror films, be commercially successful, we might see more people stepping back into doing and like actually putting an effort into it,
Yeah.
rather than just let's
Yeah.
just have a
Throwing them
jump
in.
scare here.
Yeah.
Like this one was so intelligent on so many levels as well, because it's got obviously it's just scary because it's a guy and he's grabbing children, right?
It could happen.
Just a very standard thing that could happen, very scary. But it's also got the idea of like telekinesis and people being able to see the future and things like that, which normally when you see them in a film, it's so overused in the actual film itself that you're just kind of like, this doesn't really work. Like they're just relying on the paranormal too much.
Yeah.
Whereas this relies on it exactly enough, because Ethan Hawke's character is meant to have the same ability where he can hear that phone ring, but he's scared of answering that phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas the
Yes.
eventual main child actor is scared to answer the phone, but eventually does, and it helps him escape. And then we have the daughter, who has the mother's ability, but the father doesn't want her to use that ability because the mother drove herself insane using it, but she wants to get her brother back. So like each bit of it ties into the characters they're not related to, but the ones that they're spending the most time with. So the daughter, although we never see her with the mother, like you're given that connection quite early on. They tell you that she has that connection. And then Finney and Ethan Hawke's character, the grabber, there's that connection there because he's obviously kidnapped him. And it works so well, but they don't overly rely on the idea of the mystical arts. Even though it's in the film, it's not a huge part of the film.
Yeah.
It mainly relies on, do I go up the stairs and he's sitting at the top of the stairs, but I've been told by the other guys that he's waiting for me to go up there, so I better not.
Yeah.
And then this is how I'll escape, but then it doesn't work. And then obviously a spoiler at the end, everyone knew that it was going to be in the house, but then they raid the house and there's nothing there. And you're kind of like, oh, that's
That was very good, wasn't it?
You're like, whoa, wait.
That whole scene with the brother was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you're like, they raid the house that he lives in, and you're like, the house
Oh,
with
sorry,
the
the other
tree
house,
outside
yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
They raid the house with the tree outside it, and you're like, what the fuck? It's not there. What? This is so fucking weird. Like,
That was a nice twist, wasn't it?
yeah, and like that's the big twist, because
It was
you're
the
like,
double bluff, yeah.
you're kind of like, oh, this is where it was all leading, and he's not there. And then he comes out of the house behind it, and you're like, oh, they owned both houses. All right.
And
Yeah,
that's
because
almost
I thought that was going to be an homage to to Silence of the Lambs.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
Sorry, Carol. I didn't mean
You're
to
grand,
steal
you're grand.
thunder, yeah. But
Great
you
minds.
know,
It had to be.
it was just fantastically done. And I would dare say as well, as we wrap up, I would say like those sort of movies as well, like on a large scale, like anyone that hasn't seen it, go and check out the Hell House.
LLC one.
Yeah, Hell House. Yeah, they're all on Shudder. Most people that would listen to this would be subscribed to Shudder. Go and check out Hell House 1, 2, and 3. Now, 3 doesn't, it's not as good, but it's great. Like, because what Blumhouse are doing and what all you guys have been saying tonight is this is like a big film done really well, but there's so many smaller films and independent films and smaller, companies that are doing films out there that are also really good with great cinematography. So I would recommend going and checking out Hell House if you're a fan of this film, which I'm sure will be on my list for the Halloween season. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up now. I'm gonna start off anyway. It's I hate to be consistent with the numbers that I'm giving each week, but it's a 5 for me.
Ian Meltzer's back, lads.
It's a 5. No. It's only a 5. Not a 5.5. There was no fatal mistake this week. I didn't need to cut out next job.
I'll go next. I'll probably have to give it a 5 because it's a unique film,
Yeah.
and like I can take a certain amount of really bad cinematography with independent films. Don't get me wrong, but when it's something that's done really well and it looks well, I can really appreciate it. So yeah, I'll be definitely giving that a 5, and I mean the main thing for me, as you said, Ted, was the kids' performances were spectacular.
The atmosphere in this was disgustingly tense as well.
Yes.
Ted, what are you going on here?
Yeah, I'd be the same. As I said, up until this year, I've been disillusioned with horror for the most part over the last few years.
As has everyone.
There's been a few good ones, like there's a constant debate within our group about It and It Chapter 2, about whether it's good, whether it holds up or not. But other than that, I can't really think of any big horror films. Like obviously you have Fear Street and stuff that came out, but actual cinematic releases, I can't think of many until this year where they've really started knocking it out of the park. And this was different to everything else. So for me, it's a 5 as well. Yeah.
Greg,
leaving it to me to close out the show, then, lads. It's 100%. As it says on the Prey episode, we have the 2022 list. This is the number 4 on my list. This.
I can't wait to hear number 1 to try.
Everyone knows what number 1 is. Like, let's not pretend. We've all seen it. We all know what the number 1 film of 2022 is. Take a guess. Take a guess. Go on.
I can't.
The Batman.
It wasn't as fuck
I
Batman.
know.
There's only one film it could be. Top Gun, Maverick. There's nothing. I'd be surprised if anything beats Top Gun Maverick this year.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that one.
It went Top Gun. It went Top Gun, The Northman. Top Gun, Northman. Sorry, this is number 3. Top Gun, The Northman, this, and then Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and then Prey.
Nice.
I went with Pinocchio, but that's just because Tommy Hanks is in it. No,
that's because you have no choice.
No. This is most certainly a 5 for me. I waited so long to see it, and it did not disappoint. Absolutely did not disappoint.
What a movie! What a
Blumhouse are knocking it out of the park. A24 knocking it out of the park, and it's great to see a resurgence in horror coming back. Obviously, then we have some of the Hulu stuff coming out, and Shudder and stuff bringing out top drawer stuff. So it's a great time for horror at the minute.
I have to say, just like as you all know, I'm old fashioned with me horrors, but the two that really got me kind of interested in, not all modern horror obviously, but it was The Witch and Hereditary. I just thought they were fucking unreal.
Again,
dripping
A24.
with atmosphere. Yeah, dripping with atmosphere.
And then obviously we have done before. We had X on the. It's obviously another A24, and then they're dropping 2 more in the next while with Pearl and Maxine, which are gonna be unreal.
Yeah,
I thought that was a great play on the name.
Here's a little teaser. I'm gonna do a little thing with y'all over the next coming weeks, obviously for Halloween. For any subscribers of Shudder out there, I'm actually gonna do my top 10 on what I think people should watch on Shudder, and I'm gonna try and keep it more, onto, not because there's lots of old school movies and all there, but I'm gonna try and keep it modern on what some of the standouts have been for me, because I've watched a lot over the last kind of month or so, and even year or so, that people may or may not have watched. So I think you boys will enjoy that as well.
I will just before we log off here tonight, I will say there is one that is on Shudder, or not on Shudder, on Prime in the States, and can be got if you have VPN and stuff. It's called Terror Trips. It's with a guest we had a couple of weeks ago from director Jeff Seaman. I fully recommend it. It is tense as fuck.
We're gonna do a review on it real soon, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
All going well. Hopefully next.
Yeah. Hopefully next. We can't have guests every week.
Yeah.
Who needs guests when you got all 4 of us? I know I'm putting 8 fingers up here, but that's one for each of us.
We're so good. You do it twice.
Absolutely.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll leave it here for the evening. It's been a clean sweep again tonight on the slabs. A 20 pieces of meat is going to cost you a fortune this day and age.
Yeah. Especially the prime beef we like, you know.
Just don't drive to work and you'll be able to afford it.
But I'll finish this out the way I finish every week out. In the words of the great George A. Romero, lads, stay scared.
Woo!